Welcome, my glorious kings, to Inside Harmony Rucker League. I am Walker Ward, alongside my partner, Mason Howard, and Season 2, Episode 1 starts now! Welcome, everybody, to Season 2. Like I said, Season 2, Episode 1. Mason and I are back. We've been busy. We've been working. Had a little bit of fun in the off-season. Mason, what have you been up to this off-season?
Well,
I guess I should say, what have we been up to this off-season?
What have we been up to this offseason? If you guys haven't seen yet, and if you guys haven't seen, probably been living under a rock, we're retired men now.
We are retired.
We served our time. We did our due diligence. We racked up all the stats, and we decided, you know what? The knees can't take anymore.
Cannot.
Well, actually, you guys can see it on the screen right now.
Yeah.
Where did we take a trip to together during our offseason?
Well, I guess where didn't we take a trip to, I guess is
No
more.
kidding.
But I think we'll probably share a picture of us. This picture right here is actually us in Indonesia. We spent a little bit of time there before taking a quick trip up to Thailand for some extracurricular activities there.
Yeah, great people up in Thailand. I mean, the food was phenomenal.
The guys are wonderful up there. Great hangs.
They are. And then, obviously, I wasn't able to make the trip to Australia, but you did go to Australia for the off-season meetings.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, went to Australia for the off-season meetings. Big things coming this year in the iHRL. As far as, last year we gave, a lot of our proceeds, anything that we raised went to men's mental health. We've got an idea for this year that's going to be, even bigger and better. I don't want to leak that quite yet because I don't think that's quite public knowledge. Yeah. But we got some player retirements, some players in. And speaking of Australia, one thing is we had a podcast that we filmed there, a super secret podcast with
super secret
me alongside Gundo and Zach. And on the way back, I think it has to do with like hitting the the international date line. Basically, where the time all switches over.
Yes.
Lost it completely. We don't know, like, if it fell into the water, if it's up in the sky. We're not sure. But we do have evidence that Gundo himself is working on locating that super secret podcast. No matter what he's doing, we have partnered with Ocean Gate and sent a Titan submarine to the bottom of the ocean to find something. We've heard good things about them, and rumor has it there's something about partnering with Elon Musk and sending a rocket into space. I'm not sure, but Gundo is on the case, and hopefully he will get that super secret podcast and we can get it out to the public because there is some good stuff in there.
I'm excited. I have yet to see this podcast. I've only heard great things about it. If you love iHRL in America, you're going to love iHRL in Australia.
And speaking of Australia, this super secret podcast was filmed in the home of the Central Coast Crusaders. The Central Coast Crusaders just so happen to be sponsors of today's podcast. The Central Coast Crusaders. They had a rough one their first round. The girls' team, even rougher, but you know what? It doesn't matter how you start. It's how you finish. So we're thinking of our Central Coast Crusaders friends. Obviously, Gundo, Will, Jalal. I'm trying to think of who else. Matt, my boy Matt. Shout out Matt. I'm just blanking on everybody else's name, but I hope you guys are doing well. Maybe I'll see you guys soon. Maybe we'll see you guys soon. You never know.
I'm still looking to take a trip down there.
If there's anybody else I forgot, I'm sorry, but I'll shout you out later. Anyways,
yeah, so we're both retired now. I'm obviously retired at a pretty young age, and that is due to, just life obligations. I got a lot of things coming for me, being at school and everything, future possible career things. So it's a very fun time in Walker and I's life, and we're excited to bring you guys the very best iHRL content due to us being retired. And, speaking of retirements, I just pulled up the list right now, and I just want to shout out some of the guys that are retired this year. Colt Landers, What a one and done year in the league.
Saw it coming. Obviously, doesn't show up to the playoff basketball because apparently he wanted to get engaged or something. We get it. His heart wasn't in the sport, but he will be missed. Little guy.
Small guy. Yeah, I mean,
Ethan Lane's bigger than him.
Ethan Lane's bigger than him. Ethan Lane's a better shooter than him. Colt Landers was never a shooter, no matter what we said.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Speaking of shooters, I see the next one on the list. Parker Storhoff.
Parker Storhoff, yeah. Parker Storhoff, we're gonna miss him. I know he's gonna be doing stuff down at Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just that time of age where a lot of guys who were in the league in high school or fresh out of high school are now college gets to you. Yeah, start looking forward to other things in life. And if you can't come home for the summer, it's tough. But we do have a lot of young talent replacing these guys. Wyatt Breezer, the assist king.
Yep, Wyatt Breezer, obviously, took some time off before, came back this last year, won a championship. He said, I'm done. I'm out. I've got all I need to do. Next retirement, I see him right there.
Mason Herkamp.
Mason Herkamp, one of the OGs in the league. Unk himself. He's kind of, yeah, we're going to call him Unk.
Unk. I called him Unk on the Instagram post.
But Mason Herkamp is not out of the league. He has actually moved up and has bought a team. That's what HRL money does for you. He was able to, all of his career winnings or career earnings, I guess, he was able to save up and he's purchased the team. He will actually be taking control of the Wolves franchise this year after Ruby was kind of forced out by the fans and sold their team. But
crazy to sell the team after winning a championship. It's just not a common.
There's obviously some issues that we could see early in this season, but the team really came together and put things together and won the championship. But ultimately it came down to the fans just wanted her out of there. So she moved on to bigger and brighter things. She's actually partnering with Logan Baylor this year as owners of the Black Panthers. Maybe the Black Panthers, the hottest team last year. Obviously they kind of fell flat in the playoffs due to not having, all their players there, but maybe Ruby can kind of bring in that, championship pedigree and turn that, not really turn them around, but really take them to the level that they need to get to.
Exactly. And then the last three guys that we definitely marked their retirements because they were noticeable were Braden Jump, Kane Larson, and Big Boy.
And Braden Jump, I believe, he wasn't an OG, but he was a second year.
Which is basically an OG when it comes to our social media, at least.
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of one of those guys in the league. Been kind of a third mixture of a team, maybe a bench, like a 4 guy. But he's definitely, we're gonna miss Jump. Kane Larson,
the double champ state wrestler. He has a lot of wrestling ahead of him.
Yep. He stick to wrestling, obviously. No, he was actually a fun player because, listening to him chirp on the sides.
It was fun.
Talking.
Yeah.
He's, played hard out there. You could definitely tell the wrestling mat, the athleticism correlated onto the court. And then one of the grossest, we've had a lot of gross injuries at Rucker.
We have. You weren't able to pop this one back into place, though.
This one was not able to add to my resume of healed ankles. But Big Boy, I believe Big Boy is one of the OGs in the league. He was one of the original players. So a lot of OGs dropping out now, but
a lot of OGs. Yeah. I believe we're going to have a couple of the retirees maybe helping out, still showing up to Rucker, maybe doing some iHRL stuff on the side. Mm-hmm. So you can still see some of these faces showing up on a weekly basis, but they will not be in jerseys on the court.
And one thing, I kind of want to take a little detour here before we get back to what's on the agenda right here.
Yeah.
But we've got a lot of players retired, and a lot of you, well, we're getting new jerseys this year. So what's going to happen to the old jerseys? Are we getting new numbers? Are the numbers going to stay the same? But with all these retired players, who out of years past this year, who gets the honor of getting their jerseys hung at Rucker Court rafters as the first ever retired player?
That's true. There's
a list of players you could go through.
Dang,
and that's a conversation for another time.
That definitely is.
For right now, we're gonna do something fun, and we're gonna put together a mock draft.
Yes, we are. And I'm just thinking about this retired jerseys. We'll have to go over this later because having
Mhm.
retired jerseys along the fence, maybe we
Uh-huh.
hang them up. We'll go over this on a later date. Like Walker said, we're going to go over a mock draft. So we don't have the list of teams yet. And I believe having the list of teams does change things.
Mhm.
I mean, if the Suns get the first pick, do they waive off the current MVP or the current finals MVP and go with their guy, Jay Brink? If Ruby's team gets the first pick, does she go with her main man, Zach, who led their team all the way to a championship last year? And I was going to say if LB gets the first pick, does he go with Ethan Lane? But those two are on the
But those
same
two are on the
team.
same team.
So there can be changes, but we're going to go our 1 through 10, back up through our 11 through 20, and then 21 through 30. And we're going to put together these trios that you might see partnering up for the 2026 season. So, Walker, we had slightly different first round picks.
Mhm.
I want to roll with your first round guy. I think he deserves it. He just won a championship. Who do you have going number 1 overall in the draft?
Obviously, you have to have the guy that's been to 4 straight finals, won the last 2 of them. I'm thinking Zeke right now in my mind is kind of he's the number 1 pick in my mind. So I've got Zeke, and like you said, you had Brink as the first overall pick. It's kind of a who do you like more? It's a toss up, but we're gonna roll with Zeke on our first mock draft. So we have Zeke as our first overall pick, and obviously, if we have Zeke, then we're gonna have to put Brink at our number 2.
So Jay Brink in number 2. I think Jay Brink is
Mhm.
a solid number 2 choice. He's coming off of a phenomenal college basketball season. He still has 2 more years left at Buena Vista. My only question with JB is, does the Rucker get his competitive spirits up week in and week out enough? Some weeks he shows up and he's just not the same Jay Brink as he's other weeks.
But when we really did see it is at the very end of the year in playoffs. I mean, the Wolves and the Suns was one of the most electric playoff series I've ever seen.
That was awesome.
So when it really comes down to it, he's going to show up, in my opinion.
Yes.
It just matters who you partner him with. And obviously, their midseason trade of going and getting Trey Matheson was huge for them.
Electric, yeah.
Running that small ball of Brink, Stetler, and Trey.
Connor Danielson and then
Connor
Kingsley off the bench.
Danielson.
What a small team. That was crazy. I cannot believe they made it all the way.
And
beating.
like Big E being their biggest guy is not a big guy down low.
No.
He is go stay in the corner. And he had a couple of games where that's all he did. That's all he needed to do. All he needs to do is just try to score down low. If it's not there, kick it out top, splash.
You ready to shoot?
Could we see if Brink, maybe in that 4th round, does Brink want to be like, let's go grab my guy Ethan Kingsley one more time. But that's later in the draft. So then we go to our 3rd overall pick. We both agree it's got to be
Ethan
the
Lane.
reigning, the undisputed, my glorious king, Ethan Lane.
That was
hardest man.
I was gonna say that wasn't a hard one to choose. I could see Ethan Lane going anywhere in the top 3. I don't see him falling out of the top 3, but yeah, I think that the number 3 is a good place for him to be in this mock draft.
But and we'll obviously come back to it. But like when we were talking about who our top 3 is going to be, everybody's probably thinking like, why isn't Ethan Lane number 1? He's the MVP. But when you and I were talking, is you want to have a ball handler.
You do.
And if you have that first pick and you have somebody like Brink and Zach at that ahead of them, it's like, how do you pass that up? Honestly, I like Ethan Lane at 3. Hear me out. I could see him falling down another spot or 2.
Really?
Just because, I'm not saying Ethan Lane is an amazing player.
He's
hard. He's fast. He can move horizontally. He can move laterally. He can move vertically. He can do it all. But he can't really dribble the ball that great. Not saying he can't dribble the ball. Obviously, he can dribble. But he's not like what you would think of as like a point guard doing stuff out there.
Yeah.
And, he can score the ball, but he's a very, low scorer. Let me grab that rebound. Let me, grab the rebound, put it right back up. He's not going to be somebody that's going to step up top and just start splashing.
No.
Obviously, he's still a better shooter than Colt Landers, but we're going to stick with Ethan Lane at that 3 spot. So then at our 4 spot, who do we have?
Quincy Berland, I think, is the most sensible pick there. Probably the best one-on-one player in the Rucker. Maybe Jay Brink has gotten better obviously he was obviously really good, but maybe Jay Brain can argue for that title. But if you want a guy that just go get you a bucket at any moment, at any time, Quincy Berlin's so hard to stop.
I guess. Well, I know, and I completely agree. But what I feel like I'm playing devil's advocate at all of these right now is Quincy Berlin going to show up?
True. I mean, when we talk about, I think we have a minimum amount of games you need to be playing to receive awards. He must have barely gotten there because it was every other weekend he was gone.
He always had a trip of some kind. He always had work. It got to be, I know, like, he was getting frustrated with this team, but like, I think his team was maybe getting a little frustrated with him not being there, and he was the heart and soul of that team, and it was a major difference when Quincy Berlin was there and when he wasn't there. And obviously, when he wasn't there, that's what made them fall and have to scrap to get into that low playoff seed.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you have Quincy Berlin, he could easily be a number 1 pick.
He could.
But we have him currently sitting at our number 4, which then we jump to our 5th pick. And this is where things start getting interesting because we could go any one of 2 ways. Ironically, we had the same person in mind, and that person is John Prestiman. John Prestiman going 5th. Now, I remember, he went 5th or 6th last year?
I believe he went
6th, if I'm
6th. So, because last year it would have been Zach taken in the top. It would have been Jay Brink taken before him. It would have been Quincy Berlin, I believe, was taken before him. I don't know who else was. He might have gotten. I think Ethan Lane went 6th. Colt taken. I think John might have gotten 5th last year.
Did he go 5th? Because Ethan Lane was 6th and John was 5th.
I think John was 5th again last year.
John being back-to-back 5th round picks, depending on who he goes to. Again, like we said, it all depends on like where the draft order shakes up.
Yes.
Like you could have, it could fall any which way, but it all depends on the personalities of the owners.
I think when it comes to purely basketball skills and what they've proven statistically over the last couple of years, while John doesn't have nearly the team success that any of these guys above him do, the dude can hoop. He's a good basketball player. I know he gets knocked a lot because of the lack of team success that he's had. And
the Saturday night shenanigans.
Yeah, and that can't be – we can't overlook that. But when we're just hypothetically making a mock draft, it's tough for me to look at the guys who come after him and say they're a better basketball player than John is.
And is it, and if you do look in the past, like obviously with the team success, is it John's fault or is it teammates' fault? Maybe he hasn't had that supporting cast. Maybe this year's different because, like you said, John always shows up. He's got great individual numbers despite anything else that happens. So maybe this is the year that he finally gets that monkey off his back and he gets a good supporting cast around him to help him launch into the player that he really is.
And I think it's going to come down to the owner to understand who is needed to help supplement John's abilities. And obviously, the Gators situation last year, I think John was on a team with some really good friends of his, but it just didn't work out for whatever reason. I think that maybe we need to partner John up with some different guys that can maybe help take the load off of him, help do whatever needs to be done because John's due at this point.
And John's a good player, but like, having an owner that's actually a hands-on owner and isn't, 17 hours away might do some benefits for John.
Yes. 17-hour plane ride, right?
Plane ride.
Yeah.
In total. In total. It's 3.5 hours from here to LA, and then from LA to Sydney, it's 14
hours. Not like he's just crossed the country or anything.
No, he is
17-hour plane ride
across that international date line where like things,
think about
message might not come
he's under the water right now. So think about how much farther he is away.
He's obviously in the ocean, the deep blue sea, trying to find that lost podcast. So thinking about you, Gundo. Hope to hear from you soon. We've heard really good things from Ocean Gate, and haven't heard from him for a couple hours now, but we're just assuming that's because he's searching so hard.
Yeah, I think that's what I would like to believe. Yes.
So now we jump down.
Six is where we start getting a little.
6 is where we had a little differences. Obviously, So this is where a rookie comes into play on your end.
Yes. So I had Parker Springer going number 6. And we talked about in the first round, you want to get that dude who can handle the ball, make plays. And at the end of the day, if the guys around him aren't doing it, he can win you the game single-handedly. And I believe that rookie Parker Springer is one of those guys who's going to come into the league and get buckets on buckets. And he's going to play like a first-round pick. Whether he goes in the first round or he goes in the second round, a team's going to be lucky to get this guy. I have him going 6 right now.
And for the fans at home, where did Parker Springer go to school?
Wabasha Kellogg.
Okay, Wabasha Kellogg, because I knew that. I just,
Yes.
reminding the fans at home to make sure they were aware. And you said he was a 2023 graduate, so
Yeah.
People want to do their research. They can go look at how was the Wabasha Kellogg team in 2023. Find some highlights on him. But you have Parker Springer at your 6. See, I had Bryden at my 6, but then we did a little bit of talking, and this comes back to players having their mind in it this year. Bryden's coming up on a senior year of football. Is he really going to be all focused in on going all out in Rucker, going up for a layup, going up for a block, coming down, and just something happens where it's like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
We need to.
So
that's why I'm gonna side with you, unless we want to drop Parker Springer down, because I think we agreed on our not quite our 7th round.
Who do you have?
Seventh pick.
Who do you have? Will. Who would you want to move into that 6? Do you want to move Greg or Will? I'll move the 6 to be Greg or Will.
I'm thinking Will Harvey.
Okay.
I like Will Harvey at 6, because if we're gonna stay on that getting a ball handler,
yeah,
Will Harvey obviously can get buckets. He can handle the ball. I like Will Harvey at 6.
And then I would like to put Parker Springer at 7.
Okay, and we'll put Parker Springer at 7. The first rookie off the board.
Yes.
Going at the 7th overall pick. Interesting. Last year, obviously, the first rookie taken off the board went 4th.
Yes.
We just established that, right?
Or 3rd. I think Colt might be on 3rd. It might went Colt, Quincy, John, Ethan Lane. I think it went Zach, Jaden, Colt, Quincy, or something along those lines.
Yeah, something along those lines. Okay. But anyways, like having a rookie, is 7th maybe too low for Parker Springer? People start doing some research and be like, oh, this guy's good.
I could see him jumping Will if people do their research. I could see him even jumping John if people did their research. But due to the unknown factor, and we do know that Will has shown up and gotten buckets, we know John has shown up and gotten buckets, I like the experience more than the unknown right now.
So then at 8, we're going to go with Greg.
Greg. Yeah.
Greg. And this is where, if Greg goes at 8, and not nothing against Greg. Greg's a good player, but this is where you're taking the big instead of the true ball handler.
Yes.
An interesting tactic. Not that Greg couldn't go early. Maybe a team says we can get a ball handler later in that second and take Greg early just for that size, that presence on the court. So then we're going to start kind of rapid firing him here.
Yeah.
Now we get to that 9th pick. We obviously had a little bit of difference. This is where we have guys like Bryden, who I had at my 6, but now he's all of a sudden kind of falling down. You have guys like Bryden, Trey, Jeff. Those are kind of 3 guys, and there's only 2 slots left.
Even Gavin Hubka, I could see
sliding into a first-round pick.
I don't think he's gonna be a first rounder, but he's a good player. Carter Glenn is another dude who could slide into the end of the first round. I don't see Bryden going out of the first round just due to his ceiling if he does show up and play hard. So I see him going 9 or 10 here.
And then, so who would be your so if you have Bryden as the number 1 right now, or of the final 2 picks, who's your number 2 getting into that first round? I think getting that this we're talking contracts here.
Yeah, between Trey and Jeffy. Jeffy was a second team all iHRL player last year. Both of them were. So I think I would go Bryden Jeffy.
He led the league in threes made, right?
Yep.
So we're thinking Bryden Jeffy teammates last year that went 10 and 11. This year, they move up a draft pick, and they're going 9 and 10. We got Bryden at 9 and Hefe going at number 10. So then this is where
It gets tricky because do you pick Trey at 11 here and partner him with Jeffy?
and kind of run that small ball. You got to hope that there's no wind on some days.
Yeah.
Or if you're Jeffy and you're looking at the entire landscape of the draft field after that, I mean, the list goes endless. You want to go for Trey and going back to back, you take him. Carter Glynn is there. Maybe you take Carter Glynn. Does he go with he could go with Clay Shopsky. He could go for anybody, Rylan Ristow. Or
I could see Rylan going there.
does he go for Adrian Rindles, Logan Torgerson? The list is endless here. And this is where we really started to really spread apart on our ideas here.
Yes, we did.
If you're thinking Jeffy, now Jeffy can handle the ball, very good. But the thing that kills Jeffy is his fatigue. He is so quick to gas.
Yes, he is.
So I almost think I'm taking Trey.
You're taking Trey?
I'm taking Trey so Jeffy can literally just spot shoot.
I like it. Okay, Trey's going off the board at 11. And I'm just that's good for Trey because if Trey doesn't go in at the 9, 10, or 11, I could see him starting to really slip. And we saw it last year. He started after the first round and a half, he really started just like slipping because you have that point guard. Now you need a big or you need a supplementary player. And Trey's a really good one-on-one ISO player. He can shoot. But if you already have that in a player.
And Trey's got hops too.
He does,
to go and get a rebound over somebody that's bigger than him.
Yes. So I see Trey moving up from where he was last year. He proved it to us on his finals run, going 11 with Jeffy. I don't know if you remember his series versus the Black Panthers where he pulled up late to the game, walks out, just subs in immediately, and hits buckets.
Yeah. Makes a difference. I mean, so we have Jeffy and Trey, 10, 11. You can sub them vice versa. It depends on who the owners want to pay with that first round contract. Do they want to give it to Jeffy? Do they want to give it to Trey? All depends on there. We're talking about feeding families there.
Yeah.
But now coming back up, so we had Bryden going at that. Yeah, Bryden went at that 9 spot. Who's going with him at that 12 spot?
So I had a bunch of different guys in my mind, but talking about how we need a guy with Jeffy so he doesn't get tired, I was starting thinking, well, does Bryden's team want to have a backup point guard in case Bryden doesn't show up all the time?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the move. I say we go Carter Glynn. We take another rookie off the board.
Carter Glynn?
Carter Glynn at 12.
And for the fans at home, remind them who Carter Glynn is.
Carter Glynn is an Ethan Lane protege out of Grand Meadow. He was coached by Ethan Lane. Just graduated high school. Well, he's still in high school, but he will be graduated by the time Rucker starts. And he's a 1,000-point scorer. So
1,000-point scorer.
Talk about he's played a lot of basketball. He's put the ball in the bucket. Really good downhill player. Has some good size to him. So I think Carter Glynn could be a first-round pick. But I see him going early second, helping Bryden ball out in case Bryden misses a weekend.
So then if Carter Glynn gets taken off the board, we're jumping up, or we're continuing on here. We go to that 13 spot. This would be pairing somebody with Greg Kennedy. Like we said, do you want to run? We could do what the Hunters did last year, where you guys had you at point guard, and then you just had Greg and
Jordan
Peterson manning down low. You guys were hard to score on.
Yeah.
But ultimately, when it came to playoffs, people kind of figured out how they could score on you.
Mm-hmm.
So was it just because, did that not work? Did you not quite have that partnership? I mean, if you're a team and you have Greg Kennedy and you're looking at the board here, what do you think pairs well with Greg? Do you want to go for a ball handler that can, basically allows Greg to cut to the hoop and then Greg can do running? Or do you just keep just 2 twin towers down low? You just got to watch out for an airplane.
So, yeah, I'm looking at this list and a couple names stand out to me. Isaac Underbaki, tall dude. He can get to the hoop. Not the best shooter. So we don't have that necessarily that 3-point shooting yet for that team. But
kind of like a Zach Jr.
Yeah. Then the next guy, Rylan Ristow.
Shut up, Zach.
Rylan Ristow would be another interesting choice. And then Wilson Storhoff and Connor Danielson.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have like two guards who can shoot the three ball, or we have two bigger guards who Rylan Ristow, he can shoot the ball, he can get downhill. He's just not much of that point guard.
It's not that dribbler.
He's not much of a ball handler. So do we think though that we could go get a point guard in the next round to partner with Greg? I don't know.
If I have Greg Kennedy on my team right now and I need somebody, like, basically all they're looking to do is facilitate. Greg's our star player. We just need somebody that can get us a couple points if needed, but it's where's Greg? Where's Greg? Where's Greg? I'm taking Wilson Storhoff.
Wilson Storhoff off the board.
Mm-hmm. That's who I'm going with at that 13th spot.
I believe Wilson is one of the most underrated players in the league. I believe he is a phenomenal on-ball defender. He sees the floor really well. He plays really good basketball.
Well, and you can tell he's the son of a basketball coach.
Yes, you can.
Like, you can just, his knowledge of the game, like, he's not the most vocal, but it's that non-verbal, like, he knows, like, you're going to cut there if you're a good player. Perfect. Like, he's a solid player that if he honestly goes anywhere below 15, I feel like a team is, like, just passing up on, a floor general, basically.
Yeah. So now we're moving into our 14th pick, going to be partnered with Parker Springer. So there's a couple of guys now. Parker Springer is a taller dude. When I talked to him in my rookie interviews, he said if he did have a weakness, it would be rebounding.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a dude that can kind of do it all, score. Do we want to target a big man rebounder, or do we want to have another scorer on the team? I'm thinking we might look at one of the taller guys for rebounding. So Logan Torgerson sticks out to me, and Adrian Rindles and Max Barnes are the three guys that stick out to me here.
That last name is exactly who I was thinking of. So if I'm an owner and I take a rookie in the first round, and it comes back around, why don't I just double down and go for another rookie in that second round?
You have a chance to hit a diamond in the rough twice.
Yeah. I mean, if you're willing to take a risk and take somebody that, you're just going out on a whim, some guy from Wabasha is going to come in and be a first round pick, might as well just say, you know what, I'm going to do it again. They're trigger happy. I like Max Barnes.
I like Max Barnes too. I think Max Barnes is going to be a really good player in this league.
And that's our third rookie taken off the board on the 14th pick. So still moving. Now we got Will Harvey's teammate here at the 15th pick.
I believe that Will Harvey's team, as much as they do need a rebounder, I can't see Gavin Hubka dropping too much lower.
Could you see Gavin Hubka, or could you see Will Harvey saying, give me Torgy for that big presence down low? I mean, they played basketball together, right?
They did. Because they played basketball together,
does he not like?
Because he really knows Torgy's game. I don't know Will's thoughts. This is purely speculative. Does Will want that big man who's gonna go get those rebounds, or does he want more of the appealing 3-point shooters to be partnered with?
Last year, I mean, he kind of liked having Parker Storhoff as his teammate. That, kind of like this, they were like the, Walmart Splash Brothers of the iHRL last year.
Yeah.
I don't know. And again, this is one of those that really comes down to what the owner is thinking.
Yes.
So if you're going to partner another guard splash brother with Will Harvey again, who do you take?
I really think Gavin Hubka. I know that Will has played with Gavin Hubka before he does like runs over in Kingsland. He's talked highly about the Kingsland boys. I could just see Will texting his owner saying Gavin Hubka has got to be the guy.
Gavin Hubka falling into that 15th spot.
And that's not a knock on Torgy. I just believe that for similar height, smaller frame, Gavin Hubka provides more on the offensive end. That Will Harvey, I think Will Harvey's not going to play on a defensive oriented team. If you got a guy like Will Harvey who can score at will, you're going to try to be an offensive powerhouse of a team, and Gavin Hubka just paves the way for that.
So then, if we're not going to have Torgy going at the 15th, now we're looking at John Presteman's teammate. Does he want Torgy or for his big man, or does he go and grab Ryan Holman as his big man? Now we've got decisions here. I kind of like Torgy just at my, to partner with him. Or does John want another guard? Does John want somebody else that can score the ball with him?
I think the owners need another guard on this team.
Another guard to partner with John.
A big guard like an Isaac Underbaki.
Isaac Underbaki could be a fun one. How does, what is we gotta think of, like, you just drafted John Prestman. Obviously, you're gonna be like, John, who do you want? Right?
Yes.
Who do you want to play with? Does John know Isaac Underbaki's game? Does he, or does the owner just override it and be like, no, we're giving you whoever we give you here?
True. Or Torgy, Underbaki, Adrian Rindles. Those are my three guys. Adrian Rindles, I played with him the other day. He is tall and athletic, and I believe you partnered him with a guy like John who could find him on a cut. That could be really dangerous because Torgy, he's not going to cut like a guy might want when you have such a good passer like John. Torgy's either going to post up or he's going to step out and he's going to shoot the three. Torgy's biggest value is on the defensive end, and he's a phenomenal defender. However, when I'm just kind of thinking offensively, I want a guy that can partner with John that can cut to the rim and go above a guy and score. And I'm kind of leaning Adrian Rindles at this point.
So we're going to do Adrian Rindles partnering with John Prestman at that 16th pick. Adrian kind of not really, like, wasn't a factor last year, but had track, and then he got injured, and I think it just kind of, and his team wasn't doing that great, and I think he was just kind of checked out of the league. So maybe this year kind of gets that rejuvenation of, like, you know what, I want to be in the league.
Yeah, like I said, I played with him the other day. He's gonna have a really solid season.
Now we're climbing back. We're looking at Quincy Berlin's partner here, and I feel like if I'm talking with Quincy about, we just drafted you, who are you taking? He really wanted this guy in the league.
He did.
He's got to go get his rookie, I guess we'll call it, Logan Clavender.
Logan Clavender going in the second round
from Plainview. Correct.
Logan Clavender, he looks to be a pretty good shooter, but other than that, from what I've seen, I wouldn't put him in the second round, but maybe I'm missing something. But Quincy Berlin seems pretty gung-ho on the kid, and I hope he has a really nice season.
And if, maybe this kid, who knows? There's a reason he wanted him in the league. Maybe he sees something in him. Now we move up. We got Ethan Lane. Who do you partner with Ethan Lane? Especially if all these guards are kind of getting taken off the board.
Yeah, who do you partner with Ethan Lane? I personally, if I drafted Ethan Lane, I'm like, okay. I think of building a team around my star player's best ability, and Ethan Lane's best ability is just grind you out, defensive, hard-nosed guy who can go get you a bucket. I'm thinking we put another guy who can just play some solid defense and then go get buckets, and then maybe in the third round we look for a shooter.
So if you're saying that, I'm looking at my board here and I'm just, weighing all the options. Obviously Rylan Ristow is still out there. I just don't know if he's that grinder on defense to match with Ethan Lane. Caden Stetler's still out there. That could be a fun one.
That could be a really fun one.
Another fun one that I like is Clayton Shopsky. Partnering him up with
Shopsky had a really nice year last year.
So just looking at my board, and we do have to remember, Logan Torgerson is still on the board at this point.
Could we partner? This is a team I could see Torgy going to. That'd be a really good defensive team.
You just have Ethan Lane ability to just run around and try to defend. Meanwhile, it's like, if you want to go down low, try to get over Torgy.
Yeah.
I think we have three options here. You partner that pure hustle with Caden Stetler and Ethan Lane. You partner a little bit, maybe, I don't want to say a little bit less hustle, but Clayton Shopsky, just that, a grinder, or Logan Torgerson. It all depends on what are the owners thinking?
I know. This is so tough. I want to say Torgy so bad. I just would be so curious to see what a court would look like with Ethan Lane and Logan Torgerson playing defense on it.
I don't see how Caden Stetler falls any lower.
I agree.
But if somebody really, depending Depends on who the owner is. Maybe they're like, I got to take Clayton
I would
Shopsky because Clayton Shopsky's going to show up every single Sunday.
True. I would love to put Kane Steller here. I did have a talk with Ethan Lane's camp recently, and he apparently the camp has expressed some interest in Caden Stetler and his ability to cut to the rim, and Ethan Lane likes that. So I'm all right putting Caden Stetler here.
Caden Stetler partnering with Ethan Lane right there. That'd be an interesting one right there. I'm not saying that Steady can't handle the ball, but they're kind of, they can turn around real quick and get a guard in the third round. Somebody that's going to handle the ball, but not that Stetler can't handle the ball, but he's not what I think of as a Will Harvey. There. But a good pick. So then that comes to a ball handler in Jay Brink. Who do you partner with him? Last year, lot of success with Trey Matheson. Another shooter, another guard.
They went
to
the
finals. You want to
do
that again? Is this where you see a Clayton Shopsky partnering up with him? Or do you go for a more, do you take another chance and maybe think Rylan and Brink they were teammates at the start of the year last year. Things just weren't clicking. Ultimately, the Suns say, Rylan, get out of town. And by get out of town, we're just going to trade you to another team that's still in town.
Yeah.
But do you go for a shooter? I'm looking at it, or do you go for a big?
That's one thing that they talk about.
Do you pass
all
up
season.
on Torgy?
Because I've talked myself out of Torgy for a couple picks now, and I think for good reason. But that's one thing that the Suns owners talked about all season last year. It was like we got to trade for a big. So talking about Jaden Brink being partnered with Logan Torgerson, the Suns owners all of last year was like, we need to trade for a big. We got to find a way to trade for a big, and they end up trading their biggest guy for Trey Matheson, which worked out well for them. So that's why I'm torn, because they wanted a big. Jaden Brink really wanted a guy that could set him screens. Mm-hmm. Jaden Brink rarely got to play out of a pick and roll last year, and he talked all the time about he wants a big to set him screens. So do you honor his wish to see the pick and roll offense with Jaden Brink? Or do you say, dude, they were a one game away from winning it all last year, and do we just run it back with the small ball lineup in Jay Brink?
So say you say nope. Listen, we're gonna take the best available player at 19. We gotta just hope for pick 20 and 21. There's only one team, 2 picks, one team that we gotta hope doesn't take your big, and we can turn around and take a big at that 3rd round pick. It all depends on what they want to do. Say, looking at the board, who do you think is the best available player at that 19th spot?
The best available player at that 19th spot is Isaac Underbaki.
So, do you just take him? Hope, because if Zach has options, he's probably going to be like, you're telling me I can take a big and Isaac Underbaki? I can take Isaac Underbaki and a big. Maybe he turns around and takes Torgerson and Underbaki, and now it's like the Suns are like, so I guess say the Suns go with Torgerson here. All of a sudden, Zach's like, okay, give me Isaac Underbaki and Ryan Holman, Rylan Ristow.
Holman's still on the board. They can get Holman in the next round too.
I'm thinking the Suns say we can't pass up on Torgy, or if it's the Suns, all right. Draft board just got leaked. Suns had the 2nd overall pick.
When we talk about Jay Brink, the Suns, he's played with the Suns for the last couple of years. So
I'm thinking Brink says no. I want a big. I'm thinking they take Torgy here.
I don't see Torgy making it past the 2021.
So then, yes, because then it comes to Zach being like, okay, listen, I've got back-to-back picks here. We're taking Isaac Underbaki with one of them. Isaac Underbaki's going in, 2nd or that. Zach knows ball. He's taking Isaac.
I don't see Isaac Underbaki falling past that cutoff of that round.
That's like senior and junior right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're Zach, we just took Isaac. we have to take a big now.
So
But do you need to take a big?
has Zach ever try to really win with a true big?
Does he say, you know what? We need somebody that can just shoot the ball. We just need somebody that is designed for that. Do they take Rylan Ristow?
The last 2 years, so Bryden, they had Bryden for the Polars win, and Bryden did hit some big shots.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, Zach won it all in the league's most competitive year. Wyatt Breezer wasn't a shooter.
No.
Father Time is not the greatest shooter in the world. JT is a shooter, but
wait, no.
he is so
shout out JT.
Does Zach say we want a shooter, or does Zach just try to take somebody that will?
He's taking the best available.
I believe he'll take the best available.
Clayton
Chopsky. I could see that. That'd be a good team.
Clayton Chopsky.
Oh,
Zeke,
I like
Isaac, and Clayton.
Oh, I like that team. Clayton Chopsky, let's not forget, he averaged 10 rebounds a game for a while.
And this is assuming that Clayton somehow falls to the 3rd round.
True. Yeah. Chopsky is a dude that could totally be a 2nd round pick, and I'm sorry that he's not right now, but...
And now we're going to try to hammer through these 3rd round picks, because this is, this is where it could go any which way.
I say that next pick goes back to the Jaden Brink, Logan Torgerson. I say they go for our shooter. So this is interesting because you have Connor Danielson. Do they want to run Connor Danielson on the Jay Brink team again?
I think Brink might like that.
Yeah, I think Connor Danielson's a year older with another year of varsity experience.
Do you take Connor Danielson over because let's see, Connor Danielson is a sophomore going into his junior year.
No, junior going into senior year.
He's a junior going into his senior year. So then, you got to take a shooter.
Yeah.
That's the best shooter on the board.
Right? Connor Danielson. Then how do you let Rylan Ristow fall any farther?
That's the thing. So then you have Ethan Lane, Caden Settler. But if they need a ball handler.
They do need a ball handler.
Who's your best ball handler?
Do they go back and get Anthony Keeney?
I was just going to say, do you take Anthony Keeney because he can at least, hold the ball down for a little bit for you. I like that. I like Ethan Lane saying, I can't pass up on Ant. He was a big part of my team last year.
Like Anthony Keeney. So now you have Quincy Berlin, Logan Claveter, and
this is where things get wild.
Yeah.
Do you take Rylan Ristow with that pick?
I think you'll Ryan Holman.
You got to go with the big.
Go big. I think you got to get big out there.
Ryan Holman going in there. Now, John Prestiman, probably.
Adrian Rindles is.
How hurt would John be to see Ryan go right before his pick? So if I'm, whoever John's team is, and I've got Adrian Rindles, and I saw Ryan Holman was there, I'm like, I want Ryan. I'm thinking big. They're thinking big. He gets taken. Do you stick with the big, or now what do you do? If you take
Adrian is 6'4". He will be, as long as he can rebound, he'll be able to rim protect and also go get a bucket down low. I would say Rylan Ristow. However, Adrian Rindle, Rylan Ristow, football players. If there's a football weekend, they're both gone. So can you draft those two into the same team? So sadly, I don't know how this is happening, but I think Rylan Ristow, let's not forget, he was a player of the week candidate on multiple occasions.
Oh, yeah.
He is now falling another round. I say you go for either Grant Kennedy or Jeremy O'Connor.
Boy. That's such a tough one. Jeremy's like a pure hustle and heart player. Grant Kennedy is obviously the better. No offense, Jeremy. Jeremy would agree. I feel like you can't pass up on that. You can't pass up on that opportunity to have a shooter.
Yeah, that's true. But if I'm John Prestiman's team's owner, and I've kind of seen his rosters in the past, and what I feel as though a John Prestiman-led team sometimes lacks in that effort and hustle. And you give me a Jeremy O'Connor, that might be the spark that, because John's going to go get you buckets. That might be the spark that you need.
Because is Jeremy going to fall all the way back into that 4th round?
No. Jeremy's going within the next couple.
So you're saying John Prestiman, Adrian Rindles, and you put in that spark plug, Jeremy O'Connor. I like it.
I think the Energizer Bunny, the value of that is so underrated.
Plus, I just played Jeremy the other day, and he clamped me up so hard. He's a really good on-ball defender. You take the weight out. If you put Jeremy on the other team's best player, he's gonna work his butt off. John doesn't have to play that defense anymore.
Mm-hmm. You can take that time off and focus on it. So now I feel like this is like a plug-in. This is low-hanging fruit right here. If you were going for an offensive powerhouse with Will Harvey, Gavin Hubka, you obviously have to take Rylan Ristow.
Rylan Ristow. It's his time.
If they pass on it, they can't let him fall any further. It's like he fell into their lap and they received a gift.
It's a good team right there. And then following that, Parker Springer, Max Barnes, Grant Kennedy.
I feel like that's your, I like that.
I like that too. That's a tall team.
You got to go with the consistency. You got to go with Grant. Now we've got almost being able to partner with his brother, but now we're going to have Greg Kennedy, Wilson Storoff. We've got big. We've got small or guard, floor general, the slasher. What does this team need? Maybe a shooter, but who do you put on there?
I like for shooting, purely just like shooting, like Mason Gilbertson.
Mason Gilbertson,
senior out of Lanesboro, just led his team to a really nice season.
And you stick with the rookies.
Stick with the rookies. Playmaker.
That was the previous team.
That was the previous team. Yeah.
So now, and Wilson, but Wilson is a
Lanesboro guy.
He's probably gonna, if he had any say, he'd probably be like, yeah, give me Mason.
Yeah, I'd be curious if Greg obviously him and Atlee played together. We had a lot of minutes together, so I'd be curious if Greg would want Atlee. Atlee's MIP every year. And
Atlee's a working man now.
Yeah, he is. He's a working man. So now we go to Bryden Ball, Carter Glenn.
You got to have a consistency here. Just, in case Bryden's gone, I feel like you got to go with like somebody bigger.
I agree.
In my thought process.
So Atlee's not the big there.
Atlee's big, but like
not in the vertical direction. Cohen Kraft is a guy that played with Carter Glenn. Does Carter Glenn tell the owners, like, I played with Cohen Kraft, I want him?
So. Think in Bryden, I don't know if he has any say of who he could possibly, like, does he want, I'm trying to look at the board and just think of who. I think he says, sure, I'm fine with it.
I'm not going to be around much this summer anyway.
And then we come to pick number 30, the last of the third round. We got Hefe. We got Trey. That's too small. You got to go with somebody. You stick with the small ball. Here's a crazy one. Jeff, Trey, and Kale Eichen.
Oh, yeah. You like Kale Eichen. You've been talking about him.
I mean, do you take him? Or who else are you thinking?
I'm looking at, because of the Trey Brady Danielson connections there. We haven't talked about Brady Danielson. The Jeffy Atlee connections there. However, Parker Wangen is a solid bigger guy. If you want a third option that can knock down the three ball. So you talk about a shooter,
and that's a Trey.
That's
a Trey pick right there.
That's a Trey pick. He's just as good of a shooter as Atlee and Brady is. Plus, he does add that bigger presence to be able to match up with the big. I could see Parker Wangen just going due to his size and his shooting ability there.
I like it. Parker Wangen. And we're talking the older Parker Wangen.
The older Parker Wangen, Lanesboro, yes.
Yep.
And so that's our 1 through 30 right there. I just have to point out, Atlee and Brady fell out of the 1 through 30. And that wasn't intentionally. That was
the league.
Before this podcast, Walker and I made 1 or 2 1 through 30s, and both of them I had Atlee and Brady. But just talking about how teams might be constructed, what teams are looking for, Atlee and Brady are both very good players, but in this list, they fall to the 4th round.
That's tough. I feel like, last year we were maybe a little bit more top heavy.
Yes.
This year we're not as top heavy. We're more evenly balanced. There is just
the depth is so good.
Much. I would say after you get past like the first 7-8 picks, it really starts blending into, you could see anybody jumping anywhere in that. And obviously this is just a complete mock draft, but I'm just looking at who are guys that are still on the board that,
oh yeah,
could be good pieces to any team. Hold on, I'm just
I'm looking at that list right there, and that top name really is going to be a guy that's not happy about falling out of the first 3 rounds.
So, how you gonna do that to Father Time? Not thinking he can be in the top 3 rounds, but you got guys like if we're going in and those are the first 3 rounds, and we're getting to the 4th round here, you've got guys like Mingo, Atlee, Brady Danielson, Logan Ilg, Kale Eichen, Brevin Tellisrud, Ethan Kingsley, Reed Olson.
I'm sorry to do it to you, Father Time. He got to do his reveal. Here's mine.
He's got the merch.
Father Time, I'm so sorry, my man.
But you got to think Father Time's getting up there in age. Does he have it in him? I mean,
with how like last year he was a starter in the Wolves because the talent we brought into the league was top heavy, like you said.
mm-hmm.
We've really increased that 11 through 40 range of guys where I just don't see Father Time going in the top 30. I think he's going to be a good addition to a team, but
I think he's going to be a perfect come off the bench, get you a couple ticky-tacky fouls, and
MJ in his Washington years.
Yeah, so there we go. And so I wrote down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 players. Obviously, there's more players that are still on this list. You got guys like Hayden Lostruan, Dylan Schultz, Nolan Garnis,
Young Parker Wongan,
Henry Root, Young Parker Wongan, the Prince himself, Elias Jan, sorry.
Q-Trip, Dylan Winslow.
Q-Trip's still out there. Q-Trip, Dylan Winslow, good additions to any team. JT season, whatever. Is it 3.0? Is it 4.0? Who knows? Apparently, he's out of the league now. We don't even know. JT, we want you here. But I don't know. We'll post this mock draft for everybody to see.
We will.
Well, after this podcast drops, so you guys can take a peek at what it is. Tell us what you think. Let us know in the comments. What did we get wrong? Who are we missing? Who would be some really dynamic duos? Maybe some big threes.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see how it can go any which way. But yeah, this is going to be an exciting year. This
will be a really exciting year.
If last year was exciting, this year might even be more.
I believe that just the media is going to be top tier. The basketball is going to be top tier. The weather is going to be a top tier, hopefully. You never know what to expect with that. And it's just, we've been building on Rucker every single year in and year out. And if there's a year to be excited for Rucker, it's year 6.
We love year 6. Year 6 is everything. We're just exponentially getting bigger and better. We are on a rocket ship to the moon, and there's no looking back.
No, there's not.
But I think we've rambled on long enough. That's going to do it for us here on episode 1 of season 2 of Inside the Harmony Rucker League. Episode 1, season 2, season 6, but season 2 of Inside Harmony Rucker League. I'm Walker Ward, alongside Mason Howard. That's going to do it for us here. Hope you guys are having an amazing offseason. You are prepared for the best year ever of Harmony Rucker League. iHRL, out.
Wow.
I think we're in mid-season form.
Dude, that was